Hello, how are y'all doing today? Today's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are here on earth and in heaven. Leanne has gone to Blytheville to visit her mom, and I'm here today, and I'm just going to cook some burgers for myself. I even got one burger there for our beagle Devin. So I've sprinkled these burgers with two kinds of Rec Tec rub. One's called Dirty Girl Rub, the other one is called Asian Persuasion Rub. I'm going to put them on the grill for about 45 minutes, let them smoke. After that, I'll crank the grill up and put a little crust on them dudes, and they should be pretty good. In the meantime, I thought I would just tell a couple stories about Mom, and my favorite stories anyway, and share those with y'all and my brothers, and maybe they'll get a little smile out of it. So anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll tell a story or two. Bye. On to the stories now. The first one is was probably about 1972 or so, and we owned a restaurant in Blytheville called Betty's and Letty's, and Mom had this really badass car. She had this 1968 Chevy Impala with a 396 engine and a 4-barrel carburetor, and man, that thing would just run really well. And I had this beat up old 65 Ford Fairlane, so I loved it when my mom would let me drive her car. And I would try to find any excuse I could just to be able to take the car out and drive it. So one day I go up to the restaurant, Mom's up there, and I go up to her and I say, "Hey Mom," I said, "I would like to wash your car for you. If you'll let me wash it, I'll do a really good job." So Mom gives me the keys to her car. I take it back to the house, and we lived on Vine Street, and the houses were pretty close together. So to get to the backyard where the garden hose was at, I had to go between two houses, and there were trees hanging over and everything, and so I take it back there and I wash this car, and I do a really good job on this car. Mom loved her car. So I go back here and I wash it up and everything, and I get done, and I'm pulling it back out to the front, to the driveway, and as I'm pulling between the two houses, the trees were overhanging, and I'm watching the trees over on one side, and while I'm watching the trees, I run the front of her car into the house, and I bust the front headlight. I bashed the fender in. Not bad enough to where it wouldn't drive, but it wasn't going to be a good day for me. So I take the car up to the restaurant, and I give Mom her keys. I said, "Mom, I have something to tell you." I said, "You're not going to like it." And I say to my mom, I said, "Mom," I said, "I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I wrecked your car. I run into the side of the house." I said, "The house is okay, but I bashed the front of your car in." My mom takes the keys from me. She looks straight at me. She goes, "It's okay, Wally. It's okay." That was worse than any whipping that I could have ever got. Not that my mom whipped me that often, but I'm telling you, that I knew then that I had hurt her pride and joy. And all she said was, "That's okay, Wally. That's okay." So there's one story. Okay, this next one is just a really more of just a little. It's not really a story. It's just something my mom used to say a lot, and it's kind of probably too late for my granddaughters to hear, because they both have jobs and they're doing really well. But back again, 1972, 73, especially 1973, the year that I graduated, I can remember I had quit my job at Food Giant because I had joined the Navy on the delayed entry program. And on Friday nights, I would ask my mom for some money so I could go out on a date. And so Saturday night would come around, I'd want to go out on a date again. And so I remember, gosh dog, I couldn't count the number of times, but I would ask Mom, I'd say, "Mom, can I have some money to go out tonight?" That would be on a Saturday night. And she'd say, "Wally, I gave you $10 last night. Money does not grow on trees." And I bet you every one of y'all's mothers said the same thing to you. Okay, this next one is when I went to boot camp from June 1973 until August of 1973. And you got to remember that me and my brothers respected our mom so much. We did not, we really didn't get whippings or anything. Mom just had this great way of making you feel bad if you did something really bad wrong. So anyway, we were always respected Mom, and we didn't cuss in front of her or anything like that. Well, I go to boot camp, and I'm coming back home from boot camp, and Mom and Kevin and David and my girlfriend at the time picked me up at the Memphis airport. And I remember when she picked me up, we all went out to eat there in Memphis somewhere. I don't remember where, but we did. And you got to remember, I had a crew cut. I mean, I was completely shaved head and everything, and I'm in my white Navy Cracker Jack uniform. I'm feeling pretty proud about that. I was also glad to be home. And we're all sitting at the table, and one of my brothers, Kevin or David, I don't remember which one, but one of them reached over to grab the hat off my head. And before I went in, I had long hair, so I did not want them to see my burr head. And he reached over to snatch the white hat off my head. And as he reached over, I pushed his arm away and I said, "Shit, man, leave me alone." Immediately, Kevin and David said, "Ooh, Mom, Wally cussed." My mom looks at them. She goes, "Shut up. He was in the Navy." Or something similar to that. Let's look at these burgers, okay? I'd say they're smoking. I've got probably 15 more minutes of smoking. We'll take them off. I'll turn the grill up to about 500 degrees. And we'll put a crust on them suckers. Okay, this next little deal is just a short story also. This would have probably been about 1972 also. Probably a junior in high school, and let's see, at lunch we would go to, most of the time at lunch I would go back up to the restaurant and eat. And a couple of guys would ride with me and everything, and we would go down, we would come down Moultrie, 2nd Street and whatever. And right there where the newspaper office is at now, the Courier News, there used to be a stop sign there. And so I'm coming over those railroad tracks and I'm going pretty fast, and I get pulled over by the police. So the one thing I need to let you remind you is that policemen in our restaurant got free coffee, and sometimes they even got free meals, I think, but they got free coffee for sure. And so Mom knew all of the policemen, the city policemen, Blytheville City Police. So I get pulled over, and the policeman comes up to the door, asks to see my license. I give him my license, and I was speeding, is what it was, or maybe I run the red light. Run the stop sign. I don't remember, but it was something that I did wrong. I think I was speeding, and so he reads me the riot act and everything, and he asked me who my parents were, and I said, well, my mom and my grandmother own a restaurant on Main Street called Betty's Lettuce. He goes, "Oh yeah, I know your mom." And I said, "Okay, good." And so I'm thinking maybe I'm going to get he's just going to let me go. And he did. He ended up giving me a warning ticket. But he goes, I said, "Well, are you going to tell my mom?" And he goes, "No, I'm not." And I got this great big old smile on my face because my mom's not going to find out. And he goes, "But you are." So Hewlin Kirk of the Blytheville Police Department, you're the guy that said that to me. I'm sure you stopped lots of people, so you may not remember that, but I sure do. So I had to go up to the restaurant, tell my mom that I got a ticket for speeding. And I remember I got the same look that I got when I wrecked her car. "Okay, Wally. Okay." All right, let's take a look at these burgers again and see how we're doing. Oh yeah, we're getting just a little bit of dryness around the edges there. I would say another 5-10 minutes of smoking, and then we're going to crank this grill up to about 500, slap them over on the grill grates here, and I'll be eating hamburgers here shortly. So my next story is basically about when I broke my arm. I broke my arm in 2012, I want to say. I think it was 2012. I was at my brother's house, and David, my youngest brother, and we were playing pool, and we were talking about my uncle. who was a heck of a character, Chuck Hale, Sonny Hale. And he used to drink this god-awful beer called Schlitz beer. And so David thought it would be pretty cool to get the beer, and he found some. And we were playing pool at his house and drinking a little bit of beer. I literally had drank about that much out of the neck of the bottle of beer, of Schlitz. It was my turn to shoot pool. I stepped off of his bar is up off of 2 steps. I stepped off of the bar with a pool cue. I missed a step, and I landed flat on the floor with my shoulder. And I heard it pop. It snapped. I was in excruciating pain. I'm laying there and I'm telling them to just leave me alone, because all my brothers were there. My sister-in-law was there. We were having a good time. I'm telling them that I said I either dislocated it or I broke it. My baby brother, who I love dearly, leans down and says to me, "You're not going to sue me, are you?" I laughed. Not for very long, but I laughed, because that's my brother. Any rate, I go home. I don't go to the emergency room because my wife, Leanne, was out in California visiting our son. And so I was at home by myself. They wanted to take me to the emergency room. I wouldn't go. By the next morning, I was in so much pain, I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. I got in my car by myself. Somehow, I don't know how I undid my pants, but I buttoned my pants back up, undid them, buttoned them back up. However I did it, I don't remember, because I was in so much pain. I didn't have anything for pain other than a little booze. I go to the emergency room. They tell me that I've broken my arm. They give me some pain pills. They told me to see an orthopedic surgeon or an orthopedic guy on a few days later on Monday, I think it was. This happened like on Friday or something, Friday night. So I'm in pain for a few days, but they give me some pain pills. And I remember taking a lot of pain pills because the pain was pretty rough. And I remember my mom called once. Now my mom, this was 1 year before she passed away. My mom had COPD because she had smoked for a number of years, although she quit smoking 10 years before she passed away. But she had smoked for a number of years, and it had already done its toll on her. Don't smoke, please don't smoke. And she was pretty much stayed in the house all the time. She couldn't drive. She didn't drive anymore. She couldn't get out anymore because she was 100% on oxygen, 24/7, and so she couldn't get around very well. But I remember getting this phone call, and I have this phone call saved, a voicemail, because I was out of it. My mom says, "Wally, honey, I hope you're doing okay. We need to bring you something to eat. You just call me back and tell me what you want to eat, and we'll make sure you get something to eat." Still bothers me to hear that today, even when she was alive, because that's the way my mom was. My mom was a very caring person. I don't know anybody that didn't like my mom, and her sons all loved her. Actually, this next thing is from my mom kept a bunch of diaries over the years. She would go years and years without doing anything in her diary, and then she would go years and years where she would do some. And when she passed away in 2013, I got all of her diaries, and of course I went through them all and everything. So this next one is just a little excerpt from her diary. It kind of shows you the closest of our family, my brothers and my mom. And this would have been in January 29th, 1983, and this is what she wrote in her diary. And that's her handwriting, actually. Mama called and said all of the boys went back over to Wally and Kevin's after they got full of fish. They played cards and went out to Scotty's truck stop about 2:30 a.m. I bet that was something to see. It means so much to me to have them all together. I hope and pray they will always be close. Dave left about noon going back to Idaho. My brother was in from the Air Force, and he was stationed in Idaho at the time. So at any rate, everybody remembers Scotty's out there and those late night breakfasts and suppers and dinners, and you always did it after clubbing for a little while. So at any rate, that's the story. That's one of the excerpts from my mom's diary. Okay, I flipped these dudes over, and I don't know if you can see them or not. That's exactly the way I like them. I like a char on my burgers. And so we'll do this other side. We won't do them quite as long because we want just I like just barely, I mean just a tad bit of pink in the middle of the burger. Really, I could almost do it without any pink in the middle. So that's where we're at right now. I probably only have about 3 minutes left on these burgers. Then I'm going to go eat. Okay, we got this Rec Tec cranked up. It's still going up. I've got to go a little bit hotter. It's about 385 degrees. This is the last story, and then I'm getting ready to eat my burgers. This is going to be the hardest one because this is about a mother's love and what she would do to sacrifice for her sons. It's a difficult story. I'm not going to tell the story actually because I can't get through it without breaking up. But the story is about when my mom and my dad got divorced and we moved from Michigan to Arkansas, and we were some pretty mischievous boys. Me and my 2 younger brothers. My oldest brother was in the Navy at the time, so he wasn't around. And we got into a little bit of trouble. Nothing really serious, but it was, for kids our age, probably serious. And Mom did all she could. We had nannies, we had people living with us because Mom worked 12 hours a day at the restaurant. My grandmother worked 12 hours a day at the restaurant. So we did not have the kind of supervision from our parent that we needed. And I don't hold that against my mom at all because, again, she had nannies that were there. We had people that lived with us. We had babysitters that were really good. One of them's on Facebook. Hi, Sharon. And Mom did the best she could. We were just unruly. And so at one point she had to make a decision what was in the best interest of the 3 boys, 3 younger boys, me and my 2 younger brothers. And she made a decision that was very, very difficult. Something that she never regretted, and at the same time she felt so guilty about for her entire life. We talked about it several times throughout her life. I will tell you this, I can't tell the story, but if I did write about it once on my blog. It's on my blog. If you go to my Facebook page and you go to About Me, you can see where my blog is at, and all you're going to do is look for a story that says The Children's Home, the long story. And it's going to read like a very sad story, but I can tell you it's probably has the happiest ending, and it's really not a sad story, but it has the happiest ending a person could ever want for both their mother and their brothers and their entire family. That includes my dad, my older brother, my grandmother, everybody involved. And so it's a good story. And I would encourage you to, if you're interested, if you're not, that's fine. But if you want to know what it's about, read the story. It shows that you don't have to stay who you are. You can be someone better than that. So the next video that I do will be me taking the burgers off and showing you what the burgers look like, I hope. We'll see. If they don't turn out very well, then you won't see the burgers. They should turn out though, because almost everything turns out on the Rec Tec. Anyway, thanks everybody, and we'll see you when the burgers come off. Okay folks, I think the burgers are done. I'm getting ready to take them off. You can watch me take them off. I will never ever cook a burger or cook anything on a Weber grill or charcoal grill ever again. I love my grill. They don't pay me anything. I don't ask for anything. I don't want anything. I just love this pellet grill because I can do anything I want. I can do anything from pork butts, ribs, steaks, hamburgers, s'mores, creme brulee. I can do anything I want on this grill. I appreciate it. Thanks guys. I hope you enjoy Mother's Day. Hug your mother if she's alive. Honor your mother if she's gone. But she's never gone from here. Alright, let's take these burgers off. Whoop. All right. Here we go. 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 Last one. That's Devin's Burger. Oh my gosh. What do you think? I think they look pretty doggone good to me. Thanks, guys. Later.